Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's man with George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Can you believe, folks? This is the last week of November. For us here in the States, it's just a few days from Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble, turkey dinner. So, so we are here for me. I have a lovely young lady, and she just turned pro about a couple weeks ago at the Muscle Fest. She was competing both in women's physique, and figure. And guys, you know how I am. When I get these new pros, I just get I get so excited. It's like we go fishing, you get a fresh fish in the line. These new pros. So we'd like to welcome the lovely Mrs. Clio Metakides. If I want to get a name right, I want to make sure I get it right.
Yes.
And we thank you for her time. And we want to ask her what got you started in bodybuilding, or as I call it, the sport of muscle and masculinity. Please share your story.
Well, I've always been a pretty athletic child, but actually, when about I would say 10 years ago, when I kind of started training, I was actually struggling with an eating disorder. So I was severely underweight, but I wanted to start kind of building up all the muscle that I had lost because of my eating disorder. So I started going to the gym. I started trying to eat more, and I met the right people. I just met people who were into professional bodybuilding, and they kind of introduced me to the sport. And obviously, because of my eating disorder, I already had the discipline around food and exercise. So it was a lifestyle that immediately just clicked for me, and it helped me make that switch from, instead of wanting me to, let's say, bring my body down, to actually actively try and build it back up. So bodybuilding is something that saved me, if you want, from my eating disorder, and I fell in love with it immediately. I saw my potential immediately. I hired a coach, and I just got started. And the more I evolved into the sport, the more I realized it was the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, like I think I've talked to ladies that bodybuilding either got it because of they were athletic, like yourself, you were athletic when you were younger, and also dealing with eating disorders, so like bulimia and and being anorexic. I mean, bodybuilding people look at the sport because it's very extreme, and it's
Yeah.
really a sport that really, if you have to have a passion for it, and you're from Cyprus, and that's a very small island in the Mediterranean, right?
Correct.
That's a good question. How did bodybuilding come to some place like that? Because I know you're one of two now female bodybuilders from Cyprus.
Yeah. I mean, there's actually quite a lot of good athletes. It's just that you don't see them going overseas much. And Also, I think it has to do with the culture. Bodybuilding is pretty much looked down on over here. Like you said, it's considered an extreme sport, like something unhealthy. Even more so for females, it's something very rare. And especially females don't really want to get bulky. If you want, they believe that if they train a little bit too hard, they're gonna wake up like Ronnie Coleman the next day, and it obviously doesn't work that way.
No.
But there's very few females that aspire to have a muscular physique here. But there's a lot of good male athletes. It's just a pity that we obviously don't have any NPC shows in Cyprus. There's only other federations, and a lot of athletes compete in them. So actually, this was the Romania Muscle Fest was the first time where a Cypriot federation was actually sponsoring athletes to compete to the NPC, and that's why I took the opportunity to go to that show as well. So hopefully, there's a lot of hope for the future of bodybuilding in Cyprus, and I'd love to be a part of that.
Well, I hope you and your lady Marina come together. Maybe y'all can bring something together. And what was the federation that you were under before you get into the NPC?
Well, there's various. My very very first competition, which was like in 2022, that was IFBB Elite. And then I did a couple of shows on the NPC at the beginning of the summer in July, and then the federation that sponsored us to go to the Romania Muscle Fest was WABA Cyprus.
Oh, what about WABBA? Yeah, I heard of them. They've been around. WABA, NBAA. There's quite a few organizations outside of the NBC and IFB. And that's been around for a long time. It's very, very popular in Europe. A lot of competitors,
Mhm.
even Alina, I think Alina Popa, she started in one of those federations before she came over to IFB and APC. This is from a man, KL the Wonder. Shahim, he says, good morning. And also, he says, he also says, congratulations on getting your pro card. What are your plans now? So, what's the plans now that you're now a IFBB Pro?
Oh, thank you, thank you. To be honest, the fact that I turned pro didn't change anything to my plans. My coach and I already had my post-show plans set out even before the competition, regardless of the results, and that's kind of the mindset that I have, and I've spoken about it on my stories on Instagram as well. Nothing has changed for me. Apart that I'm happier and more satisfied, and I feel a little bit accomplished. Nothing has changed for me. The goal is the same. The goal is to keep improving. I mean, even if I hadn't gained my pro card, then I would be working hard to improve. Now that I've won my pro card, I am working harder to improve. The goal is the same: get bigger, get better, improve, refine my physique, and just keep evolving in the sport. However, being a pro now, I also have a little bit more responsibility as to setting an example for the other athletes who aspire to be a pro. So what I like to say is being a pro is not just about having a pro worthy physique, because I think there's lots of athletes out there that have a pro worthy physique and they just don't have their pro card yet. It's about having a pro level mindset about bodybuilding, and kind of it's the mindset that you want to try and pass on to the other athletes, because we keep saying bodybuilding is an extreme sport, bodybuilding is unhealthy. We made it look that way. And it's up to us if we want to improve kind of how people on the outside see the sport and see us as bodybuilding athletes, and remove the stigma around it. So I feel like I have the responsibility to kind of show the other people how to do bodybuilding properly, and also how to be a good pro, personality wise, because I think most pros, they get a little bit of a superiority complex, and they think just because they got a plastic piece of carton like you can see in the back, that gives them the power to kind of dictate what people have to do, and it doesn't make you better than anyone else. It just means that on one day, specific day, you were lucky enough to be better than the other 20 or whatever, how many athletes that were on stage. It doesn't make you any better than them. You were just better on that day. So if you want to keep being pro worthy, you're going to have to keep working, and you're going to have to keep proving that you are worthy of that card on a daily basis.
Yeah, because you know what, a lot of people don't know bodybuilding that much. I've been following bodybuilding like just folks. As you know, last week was my 50th birthday, and I've been following sport for nearly 40 years, and I've been a fan of guys like the Arnold Schwarzenegger era and the guy to Lee Haney, and then as I got older and I got to my pubescent ages, y'all women, y'all kind of excite me. And from my interviews, my discussion, yeah, people don't know much about bodybuilding. They like I say, extreme. And instead again about the thing about the bulking thing, like some women, like I said again, yeah, it's true. Like some women say, if I lift 10 pounds, I'm gonna be looking like Jay Cutler. No, you're not. Because you know what? There's a lot more to it that's involved into it. We have some comments. My man, my man, okay, he says, would you want to get super bulky? So, and I think, like I said, you earned your pro card in figure, but you also were doing physique. Which do you feel fits you, especially with your size?
Well, yes, I won my pro card in figure, and I went to the overall in women's physique and got second place. So I missed it by one place. Um, It's a difficult question. My heart lies in women's physique. So figure was never a division that I chose because I liked it. It was a division that I chose because we felt that, I fit the criteria. But even before, from the very beginning, my dream was women's physique. But obviously, I was very small in size, so we knew that it was an ambitious goal. So the idea was to start with figure, and then kind of outgrow figure and go into women's physique. As I came into this competition season, my coach and I decided to try both, just because we wanted to see also the coaches feedback and see where they like me best, and just for me to get the stage experience. So it's not that I don't like figure. However, I struggle a lot with heels, and because I have a congenital leg problem that makes it very difficult for me to walk, or even stand. I don't even mention pose in heels. So there's a lot of limitation for me there as far as stage presentation goes. I've worked on it a lot, so I don't think a lot of people noticed it on stage. Obviously, the judges didn't, because otherwise I wouldn't have won. But it's something that makes me enjoy my time on stage a lot less. Whereas in women's physique, when I'm barefoot, I enjoy my time on stage a lot. Size wise, we know I'm still small for women's physique. Obviously, I had enough size for me to go to the overall, and conditioning is my strong point. I get lean very easily, and I wasn't even at my leanest at the show, because we didn't want to be too hard or too dry as to lose the figure criteria, because we knew that in figure I had greater chances of getting the card. Um, but the judges' feedback kind of co-aligns with what we already knew. I have the right shape, conditioning is on point. I just need more size overall. So if I'm able to bring the same package but just bigger, I would have a lot of potential in women's physique. So that is the goal. However, for now we're just focusing on growing. We're not gonna limit myself to the figure criteria, because, for example, if I had decided to stay in figure, there were areas where I would probably have to limit my growth. The only area where I could maybe grow a little bit more is maybe legs, maybe a little bit of shoulders. But my back is already pretty well developed, and you don't really need big arms in figure. So I would have to limit my training in those areas and focus more on legs. Whereas with women's physique, I can grow everywhere, and that's what I want. For me, yes, for the question, do you want to get super bulky? I want to get big. Yes, I don't want to go, to the other extreme. I don't aspire to go into women's bodybuilding one day. No, I don't want to get that big. But I would say another, good 20 pounds of muscle, that would be a nice goal for me. But slowly and surely, I'm not looking to compete for another 2 years or so until I'm ready. And for now, we'll just grow. And when the time comes to start a prep, we're gonna reassess my physique and see which criteria I fit best. If I'm not ready yet for women's physique, then I'll do my pro debut in figure. And if we feel that I'm ready for women's physique, I'll do my pro debut in women's physique. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, because this is what I learned from my discussions, that bodybuilding is not like a race; it's a marathon, and it's a
Exactly.
process. It takes time to grow and develop. You just can't boom. Like I said, you only been competing for how long? Like 2, 3 years?
This was actually my first competition year, so 1 year.
One. Wow, you're a phenom. I mean, that's I know a couple. There's one lady I know who I follow. Her name is Hunter Henson. If you ever heard of her, she turned pro within a year. Got and then did her pro debut. Took me second to Mona Persilay at the 2021 Tampa Bay Pro. She took some years off, like took 2, 3 years, came back, did a couple of shows, and finally got Olympic qualification. And she's young. I mean, I think she's not even. She just turned 29. a week or so ago. So that's the thing. It's about growth and potential. Here we got a comment from my man Stefan Prey. Shout out to Stefan. Says congratulations on your pro card. Also, my man
Thank you.
KL had promises. Where is Cyprus in Europe? So you know,
Well, basically, if you know where Greece is, it's an island right below Greece.
yes, it's right there between Greece, is a little away from Turkey, because
Yeah.
I did a little research before I started because I wanted to be a little bit knowledgeable. And yeah, Greece has always had a history about athleticism because that's where the Olympics started.
Hmm.
And with y'all ladies, especially in bodybuilding, it's a different look compared to the norm of what people consider women. The muscle, the strength, the size, the conditioning, especially in both between physique and women's bodybuilding. That's why you see so many competitors cross over every now and then. Like, is anybody that's competing now that you follow that you really see that inspires you?
Honestly, all of them, I have. There's definitely. It's a difficult question because I have so many athletes that I respect. Honestly, even the new pros, even the girls that I competed with, 2 weeks ago, I have a lot of them who aspire me. Definitely, Manon Dutili, my coach's wife, who recently also transitioned to women's PD. Definitely mindset wise, training wise, work ethic, and also just her physique. But I'm someone who's more attracted to an athlete's mindset and kind of their work ethic rather than what they look like, because there's a lot of athletes that have really impressive physiques but really ugly personalities, and that's just not something that I respect, for example.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've met some people that I've been in contact with, and we're still good friends. Other people that, just, I'm the type of person. If you like, excuse my language, man, if you have a shitty personality, I don't want to be around you. I don't need that stuff. And you mentioned your coach is the husband of Manon Dolidi, and Manon, she has an amazing body. I mean,
Exactly.
I felt like she needed to move to physique. I know she did pretty good as a figure competitor for a while, but her condition is just wild. I mean, and this woman did at least 7 shows 1 year. Wow. I mean, that's tough, especially you're switching, you're doing figure and then doing physique. I mean, that is tough. How long have you been with the coach, and how well y'all know? How long y'all been together, you and your coach?
Actually 1 year now, because like I hired him November, yeah, last November. So it's been 1 year that we've been working together. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, you're a phenom. I mean, just boom, got your pro card. I mean, you did these shows, and and especially, there's a lot of work to the sport. People understand. Here we
Yeah.
got a comment from a man KL. He has to ask you. Says, would you like to move from Cyprus since there are not enough women's bodybuilders? So would you consider, because there's so few women bodybuilding in your area, we want to move someplace where there's more numbers where you can really be part of a community.
It's funny that you ask, because I already have plans on moving, but it has nothing to do for bodybuilding. Apart from bodybuilding, I'm also a doctor. So I'm currently interviewing for my residency positions in the US. So by this summer, I will be moving to the US for work to continue my training as a doctor. But obviously, that's gonna benefit a lot my bodybuilding career. So yes, I will be moving to the US, and I know that for bodybuilding that's gonna be a huge upgrade. But if I didn't have my career ambitions, let's say, that made me want to move to the US, I would still stay in Cyprus and try to invest and help help the sport grow in this island. Yes, it's more difficult, but I'm always up for the challenge.
So you're a doctor. Oh wow!
Yeah.
You're not the first doctor I have here. I mean, I had quite a few ladies who have been doctors. It's surprising you don't think that. If you're a bodybuilder, say you're all muscle heads. You just lift weights and just do like that. But I have
No,
nurses.
no.
I
I
have
have
nurses.
both, but I have both body and brains. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a nice body too. So
Thank you.
But yeah, people don't think that you can be any just bodybuilder. But I have ladies who have been here, nurses, who have been police officers, who have been lawyers, who have been you're like I think my fourth doctor. Like see, there's an old thing we call you doctors. It goes back to the old days, call you sawbones. What kind of what's your field in your medical field in?
Well, I don't have a field in. That's why I want to go to the US to pursue residency training. I want to do family medicine, and then I want to do maybe a fellowship either in lifestyle medicine or sports medicine, because it's something that I want to combine with bodybuilding, because I'm also an online coach. So I want to kind of combine my medical knowledge with my bodybuilding knowledge and make something new. Let's say create a new field of like bodybuilding medicine, because we know our health is very important when it comes to bodybuilding, and bodybuilding can be helpful for your health for some people, but also detrimental to your health if you do it wrong, right? And there's a lot of doctors who won't give bodybuilders the time of day because they feel like, oh, it's your fault, it's your lifestyle creating, these problems, and they won't give you the time of day to help you. And I want to change that. I want to be a doctor who bodybuilders can come to help, kind of help them with longevity in the sport.
That's good. That's most definitely bodybuilding needs because, like I said, it always gets this one thing to pick up about it most about. It's about the issue of steroids, but that's in every sport, in everything. It's not just in bodybuilding. It's also
Every sport, yeah.
yeah. It's so easy to pick on bodybuilding because it's so obvious. Like here in the states, are popular sports like football, basketball. Basketball's very popular over there too, and those athletes take but it's mostly for recovery, not so much. It does help in growth but for like dealing with injuries, stuff like that. This is what I learned. Here, that's a man KL. He wants to say he says this. He says, "Shout out my man KL." He says, "Wow, I like your humility, yo. Thank you, brother." Also, he's picking on me. He says, "When you getting your pro card, being a fan, George. Hey, 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 don't be a hater. Don't be a hater." And also, he says this. Where he says, "I like your Instagram." So, folks, what we do is here, where we got her here. If you want to follow Clio, her link is in the description of this live. Reach out to her, show support. Guys,
Yeah.
be respectful. This is a nice lady here. She's planning to be a doctor. Be respectful, okay?
I'm always open to questions. I answer all my DMs. I try to post stories. I try to be as active as I can with the little free time that I have. But my DMs are always open for questions, because I have a lot of people asking me. So a lot of people send me their lab work, for example, because they want like a medical. They want the perspective of someone who is a doctor and also a bodybuilder at the same time, and can kind of connect the dots of why some things are the way they are. And that's something that I enjoy doing a lot. And even I've even had coaches reach out to me because they wanted help with their athletes with understanding some health problems, because you have athletes who have other health problems, that are unrelated to bodybuilding but indirectly affect their progress, and you need to know how to work around them, and either via clinical nutrition or supplements or just a general approach that you can take. I love advising people, so feel free to reach out.
Yeah, because you know what, pre-existing conditions like I have a pacemaker because I have issues with my heart, injuries from shoulders to knees, everything. It is so much to the body. The human body is just is an amazing piece of machinery. It also is some issues. So, folks, like I said again, we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit here. If you want to follow her, check her links in the live, and and like I said, you really like I said, you came a long way. I mean, what was that feeling like? Like I said, you only been doing a year when they told you you're not IFBB Pro.
Honestly, it was a dream come true, because basically I from the moment I started bodybuilding, I aspired to one day become a pro, but I didn't actually believe in myself. And most people, when I told them, they laughed at me, because if you had seen me, I was anorexic. I was maybe, not even 100 pounds. I was severely underweight. Had some, musculature, but nothing to write home about. And then I started training. I took it seriously. I made progress, but I still felt like a lot of people underestimated me. They said I wasn't ready to compete in the NPC. I was too ambitious. And then I had a few people who believed in me and said, you know what? You do have the makings of a pro, and one day you're gonna be a pro. And I held on to that and I kept working hard. And then last November, when I hired my current coach, I told him I want to become. He asked me what my goals are, and I said, you know what? Just like most athletes, I want to become a pro. And he said, well, that can easily be done in 2024. And I didn't believe him. I thought he was just saying that so that I could hire him. I had very little self confidence, but from the very first few weeks of working together, I started seeing so much progress so fast that I was like, shit, this guy knows what he's doing. He might actually be able to make me a pro. And then we started prep, and I came very close. I did the amateur Olympia in Portugal, missed the pro card by one place. Next week I did the Euro Muscle Show in Amsterdam, again missed by one place. I wasn't ready to quit, so we tried again. I went to the London European Championships, again lost by one place. And I was about to quit. And then, I spoke with my husband and we said, the Romania Muscle Fest was one of the shows that I had always said that I wanted to do in my life, because I saw it live in 2021 and 2022, and I fell in love with the show, just the organization. I love Romania as a country. So, the competition was right around the corner, and WABA, the federation, was gonna sponsor me to go there. So we thought it's an amazing opportunity. Let's do one last show. Let's do the show that you love so much. And my husband, he had a feeling. He said, this is your favorite show. I think that's the show where you're gonna win. And he said it and it happened. So it was like a dream come true. It took me many days for the feeling to sink in. On the day of the show, I was just, I don't know, in disbelief. But the day after, when I was watching the video, of them calling my name and giving me the pro card, I remember just crying my eyes out. I got so emotional, and I still can't believe it. But the number one feeling that I have is gratitude. I'm very grateful for myself, and proud of myself for not giving up, because this whole prep for me was, because it was long. I started prep in like late April, March of 2024 until 2 weeks ago, and I didn't give up. Perseverance was my motto. I didn't give up until I achieved my goal, and it paid off.
Hmm. And you talk about your husband. How long y'all been together? What's his name?
My husband is his name is Minas Zachariah. You can probably find his Instagram in a lot of my posts, especially in my recent ones. We've been together for 2 years. We're getting married in January, actually. He's also a bodybuilder, classic physique. He is also an online coach, and we're basically a team. Honestly, I wouldn't have won without him, because anyone who says bodybuilding is, a solo team, a solo sport, does not know what they're talking about, because you cannot achieve what I've achieved, for example, without someone in your corner to help you mentally, physically, emotionally. You just need someone to be there, especially someone who understands what you're going through, because there will be times when you're gonna need someone to believe in you because you don't believe in yourself. And that's exactly what he did for me, and I couldn't be more grateful. And now it's his turn. I'm gonna take a long time off stage. He's gonna probably start a prep, probably compete in the following year, and I'm gonna do my best to support him. I want him to get his pro card so we can do our pro debut together. That would be the dream.
Hmm. That's good that you have that support because especially with your, y'all, congratulations on your nuptials and your upcoming wedding. I mean,
Thank you.
and good luck to him on his um competing, maybe getting his pro card. And like
Yes.
one thing is that sometimes I've talked about is that sometimes, especially one thing is about the family. Like you're from Cyprus, and you're also is very. It's not that we're from Greece, and Greece is a very traditional kind of country.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
very machismo. Like other countries how there's an idea what women supposed to be. Like you're supposed to be a home, a wife. How about your family? How they feel about you being a bodybuilder?
Well, they were very hesitant at first, especially because of my history with an eating disorder. They were worried that I was just using it as an excuse to kind of continue following, unhealthy eating patterns. But once they saw me, you know growing and putting on weight instead of losing, and they saw my success, they became more and more supportive. And I think when it comes to family, as long as you just have to show them how much you love what you're doing and how happy it makes you. And that's, they just want to see you happy. So if you show them that this is something that makes you happy, eventually they'll respect it. And they might not understand it, they might not fully accept it, but in the end, you have to understand that it's your choice, and if it's something that makes you happy, you don't have to avoid it just to please someone else. You can't please everyone anyways.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing is you have to live for yourself. You can't live for anybody else. And it's good that you have support of your family. Like I say, I think one thing, especially if you are a parent, and especially as if you're like I said, I never had kids of my own, but I did help raise my nieces and nephews. I came from a good sized family. We was like six of us children. I got a bunch of grandchildren, there's a bunch of grandchildren, great grandchildren, and I know we want our children to find what makes them happy, enjoy their life. And even though we may not like it, I know your father and your mother be saying like, "Oh my God, sweetheart, we don't want you to get so muscular. We don't want to have another son. We already have another son. Yeah, we like to have our girls." And this is the thing about the sport. It's a sport of passion that you have to have that passion. Here, you know, my man KL says it takes some people decades to get a pro card. You are blessed. Thank you, brother. Also, he has a suggestion. He says, move to New York. Come to the Big
Well, thank
Apple.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Well, actually, New York is a big possibility for me, so it might actually happen.
yeah. And yeah, it's good. New York is a big city. I know Manon did her last couple of shows in Florida, so that's also a good place. Either way you go, I mean, America. This is how this is an old movie called Pretty Woman. If you heard of it, there's a part in the movie where the guy says, "It's Hollywood. Everybody wants to come here." That's the thing with America right now. What we're going through with our country right now. I mean, I don't know. You probably got a chance, but I'm not gonna get to that. I'm not gonna get to that. We have a mess on our hands. Um, Also, this is from a man, KL says, what you need to work on. I don't know if you covered that one. So, what was the critiques for the judges after you got your pro card? Because I know a lot of competitors get you a critique.
Well, for example, for figure, there's very little. For example, maybe a little bit more legs. That's probably the only area where I could grow for figure, because my upper body is pretty okay. Maybe a little bit more shoulders, just more density, but not necessarily size. For women's physique, yeah, I probably need another good 10 to 20 pounds of muscle, for size and density. Not so much my back. My back's pretty well developed, but legs and arms. So right now, my biggest focus are my legs. So leg days, full send, and then arms.
Yeah, that's one thing is you want to be a more complete athlete, especially with figure. You want the round delts, cap shoulders. With physique, yes, you want more fullness in the quads. You want to have that overall aesthetic for which division you're working in. What's the thing you feel like is your best feature physically?
My back. Yeah,
It's always the
my
back.
back. Yeah, I feel like my back shots are pretty strong. And if anything, I think that's also what got me my pro card, and what also got me to the overall in women's physique. My back shots are pretty well. My back's pretty well developed. It's my strongest part, which is funny because it's like my least favorite body part to train. However, it grows well on its own, so I'm happy about that. So my back's probably the only thing I don't really need to work on because it's gonna grow on its own anyways. So I'm heavily focused on my quads, especially, but my legs in general, and then my arms. I made really good progress on my shoulders this last year, but it's for me personally, like for the criteria, my shoulders are pretty okay. But for me personally, I really like big shoulders, so I definitely want to grow them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. And it's a good thing that you take this time. Like don't rush to it. Take your time, build yourself, and then whatever comes comes. This is a process. Often I say that this bodybuilding is a process that you have to really understand it before you fully trust it, and then
Yeah.
to figure out the aesthetics of which makes you a better athlete. Here's from a man. He says, "I like your glutes, nice." Saw the pictures. He's more of a fan of the women with muscle. I ain't saying it again, but what
Yeah.
I said, that's the thing about bodybuilding. There is the stigma to it, especially as a
Yes.
woman, because people don't like the idea of women with muscle, and also the expense. Because I can think about it, you're in another country. You have to go all the way to Romania to do this show, and then the cost of travel, your suits, and like I said, you have to be presentable because you have to have that fine line between femininity and masculinity. I mean, for the guys, it's easy. All they got to do is wear a pair of board shorts and banana hammock. But for y'all ladies, there's so much involved in it for y'all to,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's there's a lot of expenses. Your heels, your bikini, your makeup, your hair, and they're very expensive. But it all comes down to your budget. You have to have your budget down and know what you can afford or not. You're not gonna start a prep if your budget does not allow you to pay for your travel expenses or just your registration for the show. So you need to be at a financially comfortable place so that you can afford to do a proper prep and a proper competition season. Then again, if your budget is a bit tight, you're not gonna do 5 or 6 or 7 shows. You're gonna do one, maybe two, if they're not too expensive. And then the choice of shows. There are some countries like Romania is a pretty very affordable choice, I find, because your travel expenses, your lodging, everything is gonna be pretty affordable. You can't do anything about the expenses of the competition itself, like your tan, your registration. Those are the same anywhere you go, but there are countries that are more expensive to travel to, so your choice of shows is also important when it comes to your budget.
Because I know a friend of mine, her name is Lloyd Conley. She made her pro debut at the Romanian in Romania at the Masters Olympia last year, and she told me how
Mm.
much it cost for her because she lives in California. That's all the way on the west coast of the United States, and it cost her husband, and her trainer. That was expensive, but she told me when they got there, lodging and everything was about expensive, a lot cheaper because the American dollar is a lot more
Yeah.
than some other countries. Here we have a comment from my man KL. Shot to KL. He says, as long as you're happy, that's what counts. As long as you are not putting harm to yourself or anyone else. Yeah, that's the thing is as long
Yeah.
as you do what you do, that's all that counts. Also, he asks like this says. He says also, how long you been studying to be a doctor? So when did this came to when you wanted to be a doctor? When was that?
Well, from a very young age, because I was always interested on how the body works. I think that's also kind of how that connected into bodybuilding. I wanted to understand the human body better and how it's able to do what it does, and why things go wrong when things go wrong, and how we can fix them. So I went into med school in 2016. I graduated in 2022, and I'm now going into residency training. So yeah, it was 6 years because here in Europe, med school is undergraduate, so it's 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think here in the States, I think it's like about you usually do 4 years of regular college, then you do 4 years in we go to medical school, and you
Yeah,
might do like 6 years or 5 years as a resident before you do.
exactly.
I think it's pretty much about the same, but I think everybody has different steps.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have here from a man, Muhammad. Shout out to Muhammad coming through. Said, do you find it easy or hard to have refeed days and cheat days with your eating disorder history, or no refeed? So yes, the one thing, especially as you know, being a bodybuilder, food is a very important part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with, eating disorder. Is that really tough for you, especially, you know, the type of foods that you eat? Which things you feel like are the things that you prefer when you're on your diet?
Well, obviously, I follow the meal plan that my coach will set out for me, right? So I just eat my meal plan, I follow my meal plan, and I'm very comfortable with that. When it comes to refeeds, when I have, for example, I did have quite a lot of refeeds, or my coach likes to call them saturation days during prep, which would be like really high carb days. And on my meal plan, I would have to have sushi and cookies, for example. And I have to admit, the first time I was at the beginning of it was a bit scary because for me, prep meant, starving. So having sushi and cookies and so much food in one day seemed a little crazy. But I'm a highly disciplined person. If my coach told me to eat rocks, I would ask him what kind, and I would eat them. So if coach said, 30 pieces of sushi plus a cookie, I was eating it and I didn't feel any guilt. It was maybe a little bit stressful the first couple of days because it felt weird. It felt unreal that I'm 6 weeks out and I'm eating a huge plate of sushi and cookies. But if I trust my coach 100%, so I always followed the plan. Now, off season, for example, first couple of days post show, I was eating freely. I didn't feel any guilt or anything because I was just so happy that I didn't give a damn. But now that I'm in my off season and I'm back on my, let's say, health phase plans and I'm following my plans again, I do have my coach allows me to have two or even three cheat meals if I want per week. I do struggle with them actually because of my eating disorder. Because I feel like either because of fear foods, for example, if it's something very dirty, greasy like pizza, burgers, etc. So that's always gonna be a bit scary. But I think the biggest kind of mind block is the fact that you're eating something that's not on your plan. Because if, for example, my coach told me tonight, I want you to order a burger and fries and eat it, I would eat it with no absolute problem because my coach ordered it. So I know that it's strategically placed for a reason, right? So I'm doing this for a reason. But if it's just for pleasure, just because, oh, it's a Saturday night, let's order pizza, and not follow our plan, if it's just for pleasure, that I struggle with because then there's the fact that I feel like it's not that I feel like I'm not disciplined enough, but I feel like I strayed off plan. I was weak at that point. I gave in to the weakness. I wasn't strong enough to, not have it. And that's something very wrong. That's like the worst relationship with food you can have. And that's something that I'm actively right now with my coach. So he's helping me fight it. So that's why I'm having like I force myself to have at least one cheat meal per week without compensation because like in the past I would do I wouldn't eat carbs the rest of the day, or maybe I walk some extra steps, and I'm actively trying to fix that relationship because in the end it's not going to affect my physique. I know that, and I need to kind of get off that you know, get off that mind block, get off that fear, and just have a healthier relationship with food. And that's also what I try to teach my athletes as well. So I need to set the example that I want for my athletes.
That's good. That, you know what? It's good that you have a good relationship, coach. Like you said, eat rocks. I mean, you probably say, "I want you to eat shoe level and love it." And that's yeah. I mean, it's tough. And I know that's the thing about food. It is an important part of the bodybuilder, especially with your history dealing with food disorders. It's tough. I know. I'm a big dude. I mean, I know I've ate a good bit, but I've learned that to eat smarter. I know some days I like to have something like a little greasy, a little fat, like a burger, anything like that. But sometimes I bake myself a piece of chicken, have some broccoli. At one point, I was almost 500 pounds because I was taking care of my mother for a long time, and I was just food was something was a comfort because you know what it does. You taste it, it makes you feel good. I still try to have some control over myself, but then every now and then, like I might have like like a cookies and cakes like that. I got a couple of they call zebra cakes in my kitchen right now. I ate some of them yesterday, but there's so much to this sport, to understanding what the process you need to help you develop as an athlete. Like after the show, so you like cookies and fish. I'm sorry, I can't eat cold fish like that. I gotta sushi's not my thing. I like the cookie part, but not the fish. What was that thing that you have after the show? Because I know you building that prep and you're
Listen,
starving.
listen. When we went to Romania, and one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the Romania Muscle Show, okay, there is one of the best burger restaurants. It's actually called the Cheat Meal Headquarters. So the Burger Factory, that it's a big chain. There's also one in Dubai. So it's called the Bossman's Burger Factory, and they make some of those giga, like the biggest and most, craziest burgers you can ever imagine. And I had my personal favorite with it, which is basically a chicken waffle sandwich. Like it's like waffles with fried chicken, bacon, cheddar, onions, all drowned in maple syrup. Had some onion rings on the side, and it was delicious. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do that show. I wanted that post show meal because we every time we go to Romania, we go to that place. So I fully enjoyed that meal. Really, if you're in Romania, if you're in Bucharest, I fully recommend just try it.
Well, thank you. Maybe one of these days I'll leave the country and check that out. I know one lady who I actually met a few years ago, Alina Popa. She's from Romania, and
Yeah,
she
I met her at the show. She's amazing.
she like I said, I mentioned before, she had a beautiful physique, great competitor, top notch competitor. She's part of Wings of Strength, which is this. She created that show. Also, she has a new show, the Alina Popa Classic, but that's exclusive for women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that you found some control and to handle with your disorder. And it's good that you have both your coach and your husband that support you in that. This is from a man Mohammed shot to him again. Says, I'm still struggling with eating normally after my fat loss phase. I'm always hungry and always want cookies and chocolate. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Also, this is from Mickey. I remember back in the days I ate sushi. It was actually good, but I can't eat that now. Yeah, I can never eat cold fish. I've been poor, but not that food poor when I eat cold fish raw. No, no, that's just me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so for
About the fat loss phase, it's very common for if you basically are in a calorie deficit for a very long time, and if you're a fat loss phase, a cut, a competition prep, whatnot, and you go hungry for a while, then the moment food starts to go back into your system, it takes a while for your hunger levels, your hunger cues to go back to normal. So a lot of people, especially post show, they struggle with extreme hunger, which is basically you're gonna be insatiable. It doesn't matter how much you eat. That hunger is gonna stay because it's not actually your stomach asking for food; it's your brain. After so long of depriving yourself of your favorite foods, once you feel like you have the freedom to eat them again, you feel like you can't stop. I'm very lucky. I don't have that. I especially this post show, actually my because my stomach shrank from all those months of dieting. I'm struggling to eat the food that I have to eat now on my meal plan, so my hunger is pretty low. And you just need to remember that it's not your stomach, it's your brain. So it's a relationship with food. You need to remember that food will be there tomorrow. I mean, cookies and chocolate are always going to be there. You don't have to eat the whole bar in a sitting. You can have a piece and, have another piece the next day. And it's more about, it needs more mental work than actual eating, because you can do all the binge eating you want and you're still gonna feel insatiable, and then you're gonna feel very bad about yourself on top of that. So it's really not worth it.
Yeah, because the thing is, the body versus the mind is one thing, and the mind has a lot of the control over the body. But you sometimes have to fight those temptations because there's sometimes I like there was a movie called New Jack City. It saw Chris Rock where he's like a drug addict. Says like, "It be calling me, man. Be calling my name." And that's how it is with food. Sometimes be like, "Be calling me, man. Be calling me." But the times I do resist it and I fight back, but there's times where, what the hell, I might as well just go ahead. I mean, it's just so temptation. Here, what we're gonna do, folks, is that this is where I saw it from because I follow Female Bottom channel. AJ and JB, they've been on my live stream a couple times, especially JB. I also took part with a couple live streams before in the past. This is where I really say, you know what, she has an amazing body. You know how guys I'll admit my crime, Clio. I'm a muscle person. I think y'all women are so muscular and so fit and beautiful. We can't help ourselves. But this is an interview she gave with the Female Bobbing channel. You want to check it out? Go to the Female Bobbing channel, and also support because this is where really she shined. So here we go. Here.
Stepped off stage.
I did.
You're in the middle for figure,
And women's
and you are in the middle for physique.
Yes.
Where do you want to compete? Where do you want to turn pro? Figure or physique?
Physique.
Physique.
Yeah.
Let's see the physique posting 2 shots of physique. She's really great condition, but also the lines. Look at that conditioning. Look at the glutes. Beautiful. And then let's see the figure poses. The front figure. Let's see how that looks. So guys, figure or physique. She might turn pro in both. Finals is in 3 hours. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, AJ, like I said, oi, oi, oi. Like I said, you have a beautiful physique, and you worked hard to obtain that physique. I mean,
Thank you.
bodybuilding. Yeah, no need to thank me because you know what? I'm from the South. As a Southern gentleman, it's my pleasure to tell a lady that she is beautiful. That's my job, man. So but I really people can understand. There's a lot of work to this. It's not as easy. It's like for the people from the outside who are like myself, who sit in the crowd, we see on the stage, we see these beautiful physiques, your stock rating, your condition. It's just amazing. And then there's so much factor to it because you are starving yourself because you're hungry because you're on your diet. The work you got to put in the gym, the time you have to put into it, the investment into the sport. From the mindset of as there's guys who we are called schmoes because we love women bodybuilding. We see these rock hard, amazing women. There's the old schmo saying, "When you're ready to rock hard, we're rock hard." But there's so much work to it that involves to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, it's I have a saying that I always say, it's not luck, it's hard work. Because most people, when they see someone succeed, they say, "Oh, she's so lucky." It has nothing to do with luck. Like maybe I have good genetics. Yeah, I probably do have good genetics, but genetics on their own don't build muscle. You actually have to go to the gym and do the work. You have to eat your meals. I've sacrificed a lot. And, this prep was really hard. It was even hard on my relationship. We had a lot of tension with my husband because I'm not the nicest person when I'm on prep. Who is when you're like exhausted and you're hungry and your hormones are like, all over the place. So it can be extremely difficult on your relationships. And I probably missed out on a lot of things that I will never be able to take back. And obviously, I don't regret anything. And I'm very happy that to have made those sacrifices in order to achieve the pro status that I wanted to. But it's something that you guys need to consider. We sacrifice a lot in order to succeed in this sport, and it takes a lot of hard work because a lot of other sports you just need to perform when you're in the arena, right? When you're in the field. But for us, it's our lifestyle. It has to do with the water that we drink, the salt that we put in our food on the day, the food that we eat on a daily basis, the hours that we sleep, the supplements we take, our training, our recovery methods. So there are no days off, and all the work is actually not on stage. On stage you're just showcasing a very small proportion of the months or years of work before that, because you need to work for years, and then you go on stage for maybe 5 minutes and you're judged by a panel of complete strangers that we maybe look at you for a couple of seconds, and then that's it. And maybe you're lucky and you attract their attention and you win, or maybe they don't even look at you, and you paid all that money to get 15th place. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, it's tough because there's so many sacrifices. 'Cause I know ladies I talk to that because they got to sport. Sometimes friendships have changed. Sometimes the family members don't understand. They can't do what they like to do. Like yeah, you're a young lady, you have to go out and have a good time, but you got to rest. You got to get up in the morning, go to the gym. Bodybuilding is 24/7, 7 days a
Yeah.
week. And it's just not just something you just do out of whim. What I mean? It's a change of your lifestyle. Doing things are not considered the norm by the everyday person, and it takes a lot of that hard work, and you have to be committed to it because there is going to be days we have to make sacrifices. I know there's times, like I say, you love your husband, you really want to spend more time with him. He's also doing sacrifice because he's also competitive himself, and it's
Mm-hmm.
tough. And I know it's tough to be two bodybuilders in the family together because I know quite a few who have been. But like I said, this is a sport you do for a passion. It's truly a passion sport. We have here comment from a man KL. He says, "Do you box a little? I seen a picture of you with boxing gloves on in the ring." I think he's talking about this picture. I think something I saw where we were doing this one here. And when was this?
Yeah. No, I wasn't boxing. That was just for fun, because the basically the gym where I started doing bodybuilding was a boxing gym. So they obviously had a ring, but I never really took it seriously. I'm not a martial arts person. No, I just enjoyed it. Was just for fun.
Yeah, I understand because you know what? I do content also on women in martial arts, mixed martial arts, MMA, boxing, and I would say between women's bodybuilding, those in that sport, you share some commonalities because basically because bodybuilding is considered very masculine, so is combat sports. Just this week, this weekend, it's had a UFC had an event in China,
Mm.
and I followed UFC, and I've interviewed ladies who compete in that organization and other fight organizations. They have to make a sacrifice too. And I think one thing, there's a lot of shaming for women who get into sports, especially women who have muscle. I mean, I've followed people and comment to see like, oh, she's trying to be a man. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's shameful because you are a woman. You are an intelligent woman. You are a doctor. You are an athlete. And you love bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah, it's difficult, and has to do with culture. I think females are expected to be fragile, and need protection. So I think a lot of people get intimidated, especially males, when they see a female that's maybe stronger than them. I've had my fair shares of hate comments online or even in person in the gyms. Honestly, I don't care. Actually, I enjoy those because I feel like if I'm having that effect on a male, that I'm making him question his masculinity, I must be doing something right. So
Well, like I said, you got to live for you. And you know what? No one else can tell you what you should do with your body. I know right now we're going through something in my country. There's a lot of shit going on right now. But here's the thing is, everybody has a choice of what they want to do with their life. If it's not like the norm, nothing's really the norm anyway. What you do is what you do, and you should love who you are. I mean, and if somebody doesn't like you, to quote one of my favorite comedians, Bernie Mac, fuck 'em. Excuse my language,
yeah,
but yeah, that's the mindset of it. I mean, y'all women, I respect you, ladies. I mean, I'm a fan of you, ladies, and you want to reach out in these interviews and talk, especially for someone like yourself. You're from another country where it's not, like I said again, not very traditional, but I really get different prospects. different, you know, ideals. What inspires women like you to get in sport of bodybuilding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you have to be yourself. If it's something that you love, then nobody can take it away from you. That's what I believe.
Where here we have here from man K L. He says, "Yeah, she has a great future. You know, don't give up bodybuilding." Yeah, thank you. You know, so folks, we do appreciate the time she's given us. You know, I know she's a busy lady. She got studying to be a doctor, planning on making her pro debut. You know, a lot of work, getting ready, getting married. I mean, you know what? I don't know how I can find the time.
You make time. That's the thing. You make time for things that are important to you.
Yeah, this thing is, you know, you should, you know, life is precious. You know, you only get one. So, and one thing is like, are you right now having any sponsorship? Because you know the organization did sponsor for your show. Do you have any sponsors for yourself as a competitor?
I am sponsored by Iogenic Cyprus, which is a supplement company. So they sponsor my supplements and they support me a lot. Yeah, I'm very grateful for them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good sponsorship because you know what, especially as a woman in sport, it's more expensive for y'all ladies compared to the men. You know,
It
between
is, it is. And supplements are a very huge expense, and it's very important not only for the monetary value, but it's also the support that you feel. You know, when a company sees potential, sees value in you, and chooses to sponsor you, it means that they believe in you and that you can succeed. So that's a very satisfying, let's say, experience.
Mhm, yeah. And what would you say to somebody like yourself who's young, who wants to get into the sport of bodybuilding? What advice would you want to give them when you think about doing this?
I would say reach out to other bodybuilders, reach out to other female bodybuilders. You know, you don't have to do it on your own because it's gonna be hard at first. And then just, don't be afraid to take the first step. Don't procrastinate. Don't say I'll start tomorrow. If it's something that you really want, start now. If you need help, send me a message, hire a coach and just get going. The best way to see if it's something that you like is to actually give it a try, and give it a try for long enough to see if it actually works.
Yeah, it's a process. You got to take the time and reach out to someone like yourself who might be, you know, really gaining your knowledge, and then you gain knowledge from another person. And, you know, there's so much in sport. People need to understand. We have a comment from my man. This is Balls Deep coming through. He says, "Good morning, gorgeous." He says, also says, "Chicago in here." Thank you, brother. Also, smash that like button. Yes, folks, smash that like button. And also, his favorite is Schmo Gang, 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 gang. I know I'm part of the gang. And he says, um, peace and blessings, beautiful. He is a fan. So, you know, it's good that you have support, especially between your husband, your family, your friends, your coach.
Mhm.
It's needed, especially this sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially draining. And if you didn't have like, you know, your husband Milos there for you, your coach, your family, I don't know if, you know, would you still compete in bodybuilding if you had all that support instead of you?
I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would.
hmm So, and one thing I would say like this: if anybody's interested in, you know, reaching out, maybe helping her in the process, especially when she comes to the states, guys, I don't want these weird guys saying, "Hey there, Clio. I saw your video. I saw your interview. You're a cute little thing, like the little glasses. So, you know, Doc, I want to." No, 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 no. Stop that, guys. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. This is what you want to do. You want to say, she's not a doctor yet, but you say, Dr. Metakides, we are interested in you. We love your passion about bodybuilding. We love how you share your story, what you've gone through. I think you can be somebody who really can help, you know, some people in our sport. So if you're interested being sponsored by a company and you feel like you're comfortable with our product and it's something that works with your plans, we'd like to help you out. We want to see you grow as an athlete, and I think we can make a good, you know, team. So sponsorship will help you that way. So, man, would you
Of
ever sign
course.
that contract? All righty, we have the contract here, signing here. We can't wait till you come to the states. Welcome. So, so, so anyway, folks. Last thing I will say to you, what would you want out of bodybuilding as a whole in your life?
I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I love bodybuilding as a lifestyle. I want to keep improving. I don't have any bigger. My biggest dream was to become a pro. So right now, I just want to become a good pro. So I want to improve, and I want to have that physique when I walk in the room, and I'm like, yeah, she's a pro. They don't need to see my card to I want to look like a real pro, no doubt. So that's my goal now. I don't have any aspirations. I will definitely have a pro debut. I will compete in a few pro shows, but I'm not looking to compete for the whole rest of my life. At some point, bodybuilding is going to be more something that I do for me and for social media, especially once I start founding my own family. I won't have the time or energy to go around in shows. But for now, it's just I want to see how big can I get. I want, right now that I'm going to start my first real off season with my current coach. I'm very excited to see the progress that we will be able to make.
That's good. That's good that you found your purpose. You're focusing on real life also, but also you want to still be a part of the bodybuilding world. I mean, there's some people who take bodybuilding like this. It's like almost like a full time job. It's not really a full time job. It's a very expensive hobby, more or less. But
You have to remember that there is life after bodybuilding. There is life beyond bodybuilding, and you need to invest in that while you're doing bodybuilding because otherwise, there's gonna come a time where you're too old, so your body can't handle, the training, the diet, everything, and you're gonna have to quit at some point or at least back off. And then what's left with your life? If you've completely isolated yourself and you have no friends or family left, if you have no income because all your whole money was through your whole salary, your whole income was through bodybuilding, and you haven't invested in anything, any passive income beyond that, if you haven't invested in family and having a partner of kids or whatever, you're gonna be a very miserable and lonely person afterwards, with probably a lot of health problems and very bad knees. And that's not a life that anybody wants. So remember that you need to protect the life after bodybuilding because it's gonna come around sooner than you think.
yeah, I can tell you now. Like I said, I just turned 50, and years of working, doing this, and the weight. I got two bad knees. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin is my favorite wrestler from back then. They used to wear two knee braces before he wrestled. Yeah, you should enjoy life as it is now, and then even when you're done with the sport, enjoy life after that.
Exactly.
Some people just take it. I know some people say it's like your job. It's not really a job. You don't. It's not too many benefits. The pay's not that great depending on who you are, unless you're the guys who get more attention
Yeah.
and get more money. Certain divisions, like I said, like I do content women's bodybuilding, so a few shows for that division. That's why the Romanian Muscle Fest was the only show at the Olympia for qualification. Shout out to Anastasia Kobaleva. She's amazing. I mean, congratulations on getting her.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's huge. I mean, she's been doing this for 5 years, and finally, and he's about to step on the big stage. One of my favorite bodybuilders is Miss Andrea Shaw. I'm a fan of hers. She is
Yeah.
just amazing, and see how the sport has evolved over the years. Being a fan of it and doing this content on you ladies. That's why, even though I don't have a big channel, I'm not as big as AJ and JB, and they shot me out before. I mean, I appreciate them. They shot out my content every now and then, and I was happy to take part in one of their live streams. But this is why I do this, to give women like yourself a voice for people to understand what it takes to be an athlete in the sport and to recognize that you're still, that's again, is you're an athlete, you're a woman, you're aspiring to be something who you want to be. Don't overlook, everybody just look at the muscle thing and saying the muscles, that is it. But the thing is, that's just part of you, but it's not what's all of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you will. Well, the quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, at the end of the movie, where Jim Gordon said to Batman, "I never got a chance to say thank you," and Batman says, "You never have to." That's why I do this. So, folks, we say congratulations to Cleo on her upcoming future. We hope to see her make her pro debut, and maybe even come to the States. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here, especially
Yeah,
with the
no, for
bodybuilders.
sure. For sure, my pro debut will be in the US. That's for
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. And one show that's coming up is they are posted. Next year is going to be the Triple O Dynasty. That's Andrea, Sydney, and Whitney Jones. I know you're not going to do fitness and figure, but they put up $9,000 for prize money.
Yeah. I
Yes,
mean, something to consider.
yeah, or maybe you have it by the time you get ready, or as you say, you're focusing on physique. There's always the Texas Pro, where that is Sarah Vilgus, and it's $15,000 for his physique. That's a big money.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of the that wing badminton is the Wings of Strength Rising Phoenix, but it has to be invitation. You win bodybuilding, but you don't want to win bodybuilding. I expect that. So, folks, we thank her for her time. We wish her all the best of luck. Congratulations now on becoming IFBB Pro. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. I hope everything you have success in your life and everything goes good for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. It was an honor to be here. I enjoyed it, and all the best.
All right. Well, the honor was mine, ma'am. I reached out to you. You responded. It's a great opportunity, especially when I get to talk to someone from another country. Because one of my monikers is like sometimes I consider myself, I am a player from the Himalayas, and I'm international. So, and it's great to talk to someone like yourself from another part of the world and to share your story, like how you got into bodybuilding, stuff you've been through. People need to understand that it's not as easy as everybody thinks. It's not as there's more work to it than just taking pills and pumping iron. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined, and you have to follow. Whatever you take for you to get to that next level.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to shout out to my brothers that came through. My man Balls Deep, my man Stefan Prey, my brother K out of the Wanderer, my man Mohammed coming through. Appreciate y'all for coming through. If you want to follow her, links in the description of this live stream. If someone interested, maybe even working with her, because she's an online coach. Most of your clients are lifestyle. Any competitors too?
Both.
So yeah, so if you are someone interested in working with it, like I said, she might be coming US. So hey, she comes in the backyard here and works for you. But we do appreciate I'll call you Dr. Metakides, out of respect.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of luck and congratulations. I hope everything goes good for you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, you're very much welcome. So folks, it's your mail always your page. Appreciate the time for Clio, and everybody else is here. I appreciate you for coming through. Thank you. It's your man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Good afternoon, good morning, and good night.